Hello, everybody. Global Karen here. I could be doing a reaction to uh Cvit, or I think I mispronounced his name. Everything wrong with Berserk 2016. I seen Berserk 2016 and 2017. That both these series are fucking awful, and I like Berserk. I seen Berserk 1997, and I saw the movies. Them two. If you want to get into Berserk, I do recommend the manga, but I do want y'all to watch. If y'all want to see how good it is, I do recommend just watching the movies or just watching 1997 version of Berserk. But watching the 2016, 2017 one, both these two go both these two series can go fuck themselves because how they fuck these characters up, cutting out backstory, cutting out plots, cutting out actual character development and everything else. The designs of the characters are really bad and everything else. Yeah, I do not like 2016. And I started not watching. I started reading the manga of Berserk because that's what I started doing now. I'm gonna start reading mangas and comic books because television and movies nowadays are not good. It's just filled with woke bullshit nowadays, especially the woke stuff nowadays, or it's just some shows that's just not that good to me no more. And and sometimes I don't have time to watch a TV show or it's just do a review of it. Even though I told myself like years ago I wanted to do it, be a cartoon and anime television channel, but I just couldn't do it. I don't have really had time of day to do it because I had to go work. I had to work. I had to work mornings, then I had to go sleep for like I had to go sleep after that, so I don't have time for it. So it just started with this, and this just started with this goddamn awful show this that series had to talk about.
Berserk 2016 is the most visually offensive thing I've ever had the misfortune of looking at. It's so bad, even ISIS wouldn't claim responsibility for it. But don't worry, I'm going to break it down piece by piece in this in-depth analysis at why this anime is fucking garbage. We'll start this off with the key and most important point for everyone to understand. Everything is wrong.
Yeah,
Well, let's set the clocks
the
back.
problem with this series, especially when I first watched it, is that they try to do 2D and 3D together. But the problem is that when you try to put 2D with 3D, they both can't combine to each other. I think it can work, but because you gave these just these you gave a random studio this the control Berserk and try to work against each other, try to do both 2D and 3D, it's not gonna work out that well, especially for a corporation, especially a company that don't really do a lot of stuff like that. That's the biggest issue with that. Anyway,
A little bit and look at before the show actually came out. The first few red lights that were going on in my head was when I saw the first teaser trailer. I went, oh, that kind of looks like shit. Some of it looked good.
see, this scene right here was good if they kept Berserk like that, and the scene and Berserk was looking like that, it would be look nice, but it wasn't. It's just full with 3D awfulness. There's nothing wrong with 3D. There are movies that are in 3D, but this one was just bad.
Stuff that wasn't CG, and then I heard the sword sounds. And it sounded like an assortment of banging pots and pans together.
It really does. It's just two pans hitting each other.
And I saw the director and didn't recognize his name. That's okay though. I don't usually recognize most animator director names unless I really like them, like Gen Oribuchi or Shinichiro Watanabe. So I decided to have a look at what Mr. Shin Itagaki had worked on previously. Oh, he did some key animations for Inuyasha. He was a director for some Loop in the Third episodes. He did storyboard.
He only did like episode 5. That's all he did.
Panty and stocking.
It's just episode 9.
Who does no panty and stocking? What are you, a fucking loser? Oh, well, let's keep moving.
And that anime was awful. I never seen Devil May Cry or seen or played the games, but I heard. But I always go to like the websites and see that Devil May Cry the anime. I saw that it was really bad.
He did some Gurren Lagann episode.
Okay, he did like 6, 24, 6, 7, 5.
Direction.
At least he did some episodes than
And
the others.
storyboarding, Gurren Lagann, one of the greatest artistic achievements made by man. That means we must be in good hands, right? Right? But then you get to his latest work, and the most recent thing he's worked on is TQ. Okay, that's a little odd. Maybe it was just for a paycheck or something. But then you keep scrolling and you see he did all 9 seasons of it. Oh, okay. Worst yet, that they decided that it was a great idea to let an animation studio whose previous work was only TQ to work on this.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem with this with the that's like I said, that's the biggest problem. You got a company that only did TQ and did so many seasons of TQ, just as hyper. I never seen TQ, but it looks like it's just a girly anime that's just looks like it's just hyper and stuff. That's the biggest problem. A you got a company that only did this, and now they had to do a hyper gory anime, and that's the biggest problem. How you go to QC and fun to dark and gruesome.
TQ's an anime about cute little girls playing tennis, and it kind of looks like shit.
Yeah.
But a lot of its charm comes from looking like shit. I feel like that's not a good choice when you're picking someone to make a highly detailed anime.
Yeah.
Why not get Studio Bones?
Yeah.
Or Madhouse?
Yeah, you should got the people that made fucking Hellsing Ultimate to do Berserk. At least they know what they fucking doing.
Or anyone other than this.
Yeah.
Was this really all
other than these people that did TQ. Who gave these people the right to do Berserk? Who gave the people that made TQ Berserk instead of these other companies that can do Berserk way better than these people did?
Had probably the biggest alarm going off in my head is that Mr. Itagaki has no experience with 3D animation. Why would you get someone to direct something made in 3D animation when they have no prior experience? Another thing, when reading an interview with the show's producer, it said that they were doing storyboards in 2D and then choosing if they wanted scenes to be in full CG, traditional 2D animation, or hybrid of the both.
It's already bad when you try to do 2D and 3D. You just pick one and that's it. You can't just do CGI. You can't just do CGI and 2D together. It doesn't work that way. I think it can work, but these guys, like you said, from Shin Igaki, he has no experience doing 3D animation. He's just stuck to 2D.
Sounds like a huge clusterfucking waste of time. And sure enough, it was. It was also stated in this same interview the director of the 2D and the 3D studios would meet and discuss what they were going to use depending on what they were trying to achieve for each scene. What I gather from this information is that all 3 parties are trying to achieve the same thing but doing it separately.
Yeah, that's another problem. So y'all trying to do one thing and try to find out what the anime gonna look like? How is Berserk gonna look like? But the biggest issue is that all three parties are trying to do these things together. Try to do these things not together because if they did together, this would have a little bit of work. But because they weren't doing it together, they were doing their own bullshit. This didn't work, and this is what we got: an awful adaptation of Berserk and the 2017 one too.
Are essentially working against each other, leading to more issues down the line, causing more clusterfucks, and especially when this is on such a constrained time schedule, giving us this shit state of a product we have in front of us now that I am bitching about in this 30-minute long video. It is also very clear to me that they have zero budget whatsoever. I guess Miura used up all of his savings for the end.
Yeah, because you got enough budget, you can make animation still work that's another thing too, like you said. Even the budget wasn't much that much, too.
anime on Idolmaster. Thanks, Idolmaster. You ruined another thing I love. Good job. But enough of the depressing monotone narration. Time to move on to the heated ranting that everyone loves watching these videos for. It doesn't take Sir Roger Ebert to explain to you that this looks like fucking garbage. What happened here? Who okayed this? How could anyone let this happen to Berserk? Berserk, one of the most influential things to come out of fucking Japan next to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and hentai. Look at
This is true.
JoJo. Iraqi sitting in his fucking house made of money laughing while the money prints itself from each release of the new JoJo season.
Yeah, and we are already in Stone Ocean, and Stone Ocean Season 2 coming out soon.
And we see Miura over here fucking picking up table scraps when he remembers that he has to eat after sitting through a 20-hour session of Idolmaster. No, Kotaku, it is not some damn good anime worthy where your tongue is to be scraped off the floor with a spatula. I quote, there wasn't any sexual violence in this episode. One of Berserk 1997's first scenes featured a girl openly harassed at a tavern.
Even though in this scene with the girl getting abused by these people, they even cut even the original one from the 1997 one with this scene kind of messed up too, because you're supposed to be seeing Serpico in this scene, but in the first manga, Gus say Puck from these people, not the girl.
Forced to lick spilled wine off a table, Guts predictably saves her. It's dull. Perhaps this series' writers have caught up with the times. Caught up with the times. If only she knew the horrors to come. Honestly, I could make an entire video about how wrong this article is, but that's something for another time. I guess I should get this out of the way now, but it's pretty obvious that, yes, the animation is terrible. Everyone
Really
and their fucking
bad.
dog has talked about it. I'm going to talk about it as much as I can throughout this video, but I'm trying to make it seem not repetitive compared to what everyone else has put out so far. A lot of this is going to be me comparing scenes from the anime to its mega panel counterparts.
And this demon right here, this is Gus and Casca's kid. So y'all know what happened, why this thing, how this is Gus and Casca's kid. But the thing is that in the clips, because Griffith raped Casca, he kind of fucked the child up too inside Casca, and that's where you got this demon. Just to give you an idea of the clusterfucking disservice we are getting with this product compared to the amazing greatness of the original. I'll also be mentioning when each episode starts, the amount of chapters it's covering to give an idea of how much they have to compress in a single 22-minute anime episode. The intro song is also generic anime dribble that completely misses the tone of what Berserk is actually about. And I feel like if someone just watched this intro knowing nothing about Berserk would give them a false pretense of what the show is like. Not to mention it also looks like utter shit for most of it. I guess at this point I should just accept the fact that we're never going to get a Lost Children's arc. I ain't in the current. Let me tell you something right here. I'm gonna pause this right quick. I ain't actually in the Lost Children's arc. I in the arc where this female apostle kidnapped Jill now and tried to kidnap Jill and try to talk to her about making her become a demon as her, being an elf like her. Gus, I think Gus just went to Miss Valley to confront her, and Puck found Gus fighting these insect demons. The Lost Children's arc not bad. It's not a bad arc. I actually like it, and I just got done finishing the Golden Age arc a third or fourth time in my life. I've seen the 1997 version so many times. I saw the movies, then I had to read the manga and read how the Golden Age arc became about again. Then now I'm in the Lost Children arc. It's not even a bad arc. Which is, in fact, my favorite arc of the entire manga. It annoys and saddens me to know that my favorite part of the entire series is just not going to get the animated justice it actually deserves. But I guess I should be happy that my favorite part is spared from the travesty that is. But the problem is with the Lost Children's arc is that you cut like a lot of shit out because that's how you meet Farnese. Because after the Lost Children's arc is done, this is when Gus meet Farnese after because the next arc is the conviction arc. Berserk 2016.
Now that we got all the exterior bullshit out of the way, we can actually talk about the episodes themselves. Episode 1 covers the prologue of chapters 0A, 0B, along with chapters 95, 96, and 119. So essentially it's trying to merge two arcs together, that being the Black Swordsman arc when we're first introduced to Guts himself at the beginning of the manga, and the Conviction arc, which comes right after the Lost Children's arc, which is...
Even though it makes no goddamn sense why they did this. Because, okay, you went to the Black Swordsman arc, then you went to the Baron Count arc, where you meet this Count, then you go to the Golden Age arc to the Lost Children arc to the Conviction arc. So I get why they cut out the Golden Age arc, because this is a continuation to the movies, and they want you to watch the movies as well. But the problem is that they cut out the Count arc as well, especially when you get to certain scenes where you need that arc to begin with anyway. Almost the same thing with the Lost Children, so they cut most of that stuff out.
The show, along with the other prologue chapters and all the plots within it, considering there is prologue chapters 0C through 0P that are completely cut.
Zero I is where the Golden Age arc starts, but the movies cut most of Gus' backstory anyway, along with other stuff. Yeah, the movies did the same thing. They cut most of Gus' backstory as well.
From the anime, I'll be going over the cut plot points as they come up throughout the story.
So and the movies were like three. And the movies were like 3 movies. I was surprised they cut so much stuff out, even though the movies were like 2 hours long.
The first one that was cut from the anime was Guts killing the female apostle.
Yeah, this is the first thing you see in the manga. Gus killing this female apostle.
At first, this may not seem important, but this is the same female apostle that killed Corcus and other members of the Band of the Hawk during the eclipse. So since we're merging these two separate arcs, which have vast chapter distances between each other, there is going to be a lot of things that are told out of order. Like right off the bat, when you first see Guts enter the bar, Isidro can also be seen...
Yeah, because Isidro not supposed to... Oh, okay, not Subercoast with Farnies. Isidro not supposed to be there yet.
This bar, except for the fact that he isn't introduced.
Cicero gonna be introduced when the girl get abused.
Until chapter 133 in the manga.
That's why Cicero was trying to save her from. That's what Cicero was there, trying to save the girl. To Gus came there and kill and beat the guys up or kill them.
They also introduced Shirk in this episode.
Sure not supposed to be there until after the Conviction arc is over.
Even though she isn't introduced in the manga until chapter 184. Guys, there's really no time. We have to introduce everybody right now in the first episode. Fuck plot progression at all. With all this shaky cam, you'd think I'd be watching a found footage movie and not an anime. What's the point of all these angled shots like the upside down pan of Guts walking into the bar? What is this supposed to establish? This is just incoherent mess. In the bar scene, Guts just knocks them out and fights the bandits.
But even though he's supposed to kill him, because in the manga, Guts kills them.
In the manga, he actually kills him, and since the whole Baron subplot from the prologue is cut, he doesn't interrogate one of them.
Yeah, because he's supposed to interrogate him and give the guy a message. So like, that's what Gus said. Like, that I suppose you can deliver a message to your boss for me, because Gus told this guy to send a message to the not the count guy, but the snake apostle, to the snake apostle, to tell him he's coming after him, but they cut that out.
And it has this cool shot where he cuts them in half. Oh, hey, we're already starting to reuse assets, like the guy at the entrance of the bar.
Even though he's not supposed to be there anyway. And the guy in the bar, that guy right there, he's a priest too.
Who swing a sword at him. What the fuck is that white shimmer supposed to be right here? There's nothing like this in the manga, so I have no idea what they're trying to show here. With the whole Snake Baron plot being cut, it also cuts a lot of the interactions between Guts and Puck. And I feel this is where they show a lot of Guts, his character, and they establish him as a person. Also, they establish why he keeps Puck around. Like the fact that he heals Guts, and that's the only reason he does. But what you can tell from this, it's just Puck is an annoying little asshole that follows Guts around that he can't stand.
They cut most of Puck's character development as well. That's what I did not like about this, because now I start reading the manga, I do not like this anime a lot more now, because you cut most of Puck's character as well. Because when you watch this, while Puck, you see like Puck is so annoying, but in the fucking manga, yes, is a little annoying, but he at least is that character that be like, Gus, why are you being such an asshole to people? Because Puck's a nice character that's trying to give people hope and stuff, but and then you got Gus who's just really such a dark character and try to say some horrible stuff to people, even though the only reason why he's doing this so he won't have feelings for people. Because you don't have, that's why they cut. That's why you don't have the Golden Age arc in there. Because it makes a whole lot of sense why Gus is like this.
And Guts yells at him, but never actually acts upon making him go away more than just yelling a few times. Since they decided to leave the bandits in the bar alive, and
even though the band is supposed to be, even though the band is supposed to be in the Lost Treasure arc, these characters right here, they're supposed to be in the beginning of the Lost Treasure arc, but they cut that out.
Cutting the Lost Children's arc, they decided to introduce the cursed tree here and then kill them off so we don't actually have to worry about them again.
Even though these guys supposed to be supposed to be transformed into demon insects, because the female apostle fairy girl, I forgot her name. I can't pronounce her name. It starts with R. But she turned them into demons so they can protect Miss Valley from intruders like Guts.
And we will soon forget their existence. But hey, with this, we get a funny image to laugh at how terrible the show looks. Honestly, some of the actual drawn scenes in the show don't look all that terrible. For some reason, I thought it was a great idea to just start connecting every small little plot point for no apparent reason, like how the old man was at the bar in the beginning in the anime, but he never was in the manga. And for some reason, they just thought, hey, let's tie this all together. There were a lot of minor dialogue changes, especially surrounding Guts, like when he's
because Gus and the priest was talking to each other because the priest talked to Gus about being a mercenary, and mercenaries are just killers for hire, and Gus like he don't like priests as well. Then the priest talked to Gus about his son being a mercenary and died, and Gus like that he was happy that he did what he loved, but because they tried to change it, it made no sense.
Talking to the old man about his dead son. He says that the son was lucky to have died doing what he wanted instead of, I bet he was happy. Changing Guts' outlook on life.
It's at least it shows that one Gus said like the kid was happy that he lived what he wanted to do instead of, or the kid was lucky that he didn't die doing other things. It's like it's so dumb why they changed that like that. Because it's certain, I get in dubs and subs that they have to they don't really need to change them because they got the whole manga. That's why I always be like almost the same thing with comics and Marvel and stuff. Because why you gotta change some things, even though you got the whole foundation, even though you got the whole foundation of the comics and mangas right in your fingertips. I get with Marvel, it's because Fox had DC, no, not Fox had DC. Fox had the X-Men on, and I think Sony had Spider-Man though. That's why they didn't read. That's why Disney didn't have all these characters yet. Disney Disney got the X-Men them now, but they still need Spider-Man and all his other villains.
More philosophical, instead it just comes off more edgy. He's lucky to die. Like, come on, the show may be dark and gruesome.
It's not but it's not edgy. Because when you read the manga, there are some funny stuff in there. It's not just it is dark and gruesome, but it's not edgy. It's not like people just dying just to die. It's not like that. It's not just fucking edgy. It does have funny moments. Berserk has funny moments in there, and actually happy stuff, especially in the Golden Age arc.
And fucking edgy. Even though this is supposed to be a continuation of the movies, they keep flashing back to it like we've never seen it before. Like during Guts' Nightmares, they add scenes from the eclipse. Of course, not scenes from the movie, mind you, because that would actually look good.
In the movies were like 3D. That's the thing. That's the thing about. I think this is why they were thinking. I think that's what it was. Is that because Berserk was, I think because the movies were 3D, maybe a little bit 2D, that they were trying to trying to do what the movies were doing, but because the movie had better people, because the movies had better people and knew what they are supposed to fucking do, they knew how to make Berserk work. I wish the people that did the movie actually created this whole TV show, create a whole anime of Berserk, but because they gave it to people that made TQ, it made it worse.
Because those scenes are actually well animated. This is just really shitty redraws.
Yeah.
That was the most flaccid scream of Griffith I've
And
ever.
this demon is an incubus because every time, what incubus does is that when someone dreams, they give them like nightmares and stuff, or they no, I think they feed on dreams. That's what they do.
Ever heard. And people say the Japanese versions are always better. Man, these scenes are supposed to be super dramatic and impactful, but everyone's lifeless expression really takes away from it. Like it's completely distracting. I can't ignore it. If they had Guts swinging his sword animated for the trailer, why not just use that in the anime itself instead of using a 3D model? That seems like more work. Also, it looks infinitely worse. This has been said a million times already, but fucking hell does the Dragon Slayer sound awful. It's like two fucking pins thrown down a metal stairwell, adding some reverb to it. If you honestly couldn't come up with a cool sword sound, then just use some fucking royalty-free sound effects. Jesus fucking Christ, anything is better than this.
Yeah, this sounds terrible.
This scene is supposed to be really shocking and show the weakness of Guts' character, that he isn't as tough and as heartless as he tries to portray himself. But it's
because in this version, because Gus tried to make himself look like a tough guy, but he's not really a tough guy. Even Gus have faults.
Completely ruined by the shitty panning and Colette going, "Nothing personal, kid."
Even though in the manga, Colette didn't say anything. In the I'm gonna say this one more time. In the manga, Colette didn't even say anything. She just stabbed Gus, and Gus killed her. Well, the one, she was possessed by a demon anyway, and she already died, so it makes sense.
Along with the terrible sword effects and the downright terrible angles of these shots. This is honestly how I feel about the show.
He does throw up in the manga too.
So episode 2 starts, and this covers chapters 119 through 122. Now that they're in daylight, you get to see how terrible the characters are in all of their glory. Because in the first episode, since it was mostly dark, it kind of masked somewhat how shitty they look. But nope, in pure daylight, you get to see how terrible they are in all their extremely awkward movement. With the Lost Children arc's removal, now Guts runs into Farnese right after.
Because Farnese supposed to because I in the part where Farnese went to this small town where Gus and them were, and I think the townspeople gonna tell Farnese that tell people that Gus were killing kids, even though Gus didn't kill no kids. You could say Gus kidnapped one girl, kidnapped two people, but he ain't really killed them. He ain't kill no kids. That's one thing.
Fighting these.
That's why Farnese went after him, because of the Lost Children arc, because they cut that out, and so that's where you got Farnese. Because you are like, why is Farnese after Gus? Because they cut out the Lost Children arc. That's why.
Skeletons instead of fighting the apostles and her minions, which would leave him far more wounded and would make sense why he's too weak to fight them. Also, it doesn't really make sense why they're after him at this point, since he hasn't really done anything too bad yet. Like, one of the main reasons they're after him because they thought he was a fucking child murderer. A sword doesn't make that sound when you just grab it. Once again, the show censors Guts killing more of the guards and instead just hurts them by punching them.
Even though this is a metal fucking arm, so he Gus hitting him with full force, so Gus is supposed to kill him. They're trying to make Gus look like he's not really killing them, but in actuality, he is killing them. Gus don't really keep people alive; he just murders them.
Yeah, but Alex, it's not really that important, really. It's just some name. Yeah, guys, who needs artistic integrity? Who needs to actually adapt something well when you can just pump out dribble and idiots will eat it up? What is with this rewind-like sound in the music? It's super distracting while they're fighting. Like, these phases are so lifeless, they don't convey anything from these characters. It is so static and boring. Like, look at this fucking comparison.
That looks the manga look way better than this. Because you see Farney's shocked face that she's shocked that this one guy is killing off her whole army.
Even more flashbacks added in of the Golden Age arc, even though this is supposed to be a continuation of it. Instead of actually showing any action on what's happening on the screen, we're just going to leave a close-up of Guts' face and sword sounds in the background to give you an idea of what's going on. I can't get over how terrible this transition in this scene really is. I had to mention it. Like, why would you pan this way? It's so visually ugly. Wait a second, this scene doesn't look like utter shit. Am I watching the Blu-rays? What's going on here? Why are all of Guts' whip marks magically healed in the next shot when he's walking out of the tent? Did they forget to re-add them to his 3D model?
Forget to re-add them.
Interactions between Puck and Guts are cut from the anime because who needs characterization, right? They're friends, guys. If the show keeps telling us they're friends, we're gonna believe it, right? Right? Honestly, the best looking shot of the entire episode is the Stinger still image at the end. So episode 3 covers chapters 123 through 127, and apparently Miura actually directed this episode, so maybe we're in good hands this time. Let's see how well he can transition.
You know what? This is another thing that pisses me off, is that the guy who made this, well, this was a while ago, where after the guy passed away. This is another thing why I don't like this series, how they really fucked up this guy's whole fucking manga. Even though this is a long time ago, so I don't really fault them for that. It was like 2018. I think the guy passed away, 2020, 2021. So I don't fault them for that. Is for me, because I watched it in 2022. That's why I do not like this series.
Drawing an amazing detailed manga to actually fluid motion. Why is the sword making clang sounds when he's swinging through spirits? Aren't they supposed to be ethereal? Another visually interesting scene ruined by...
I hear a lot of sword sounds for So Long, from One Piece, fucking Blue Exorcist from Black Clover, but when you hear these sword sounds in Berserk, it sounds so bad.
Shitty animation. So they changed the whole location.
I don't know who's accepting the sound of sword making two pan sounds. I don't know what to tell you. You don't know what a sword sounds like.
So they are now in an abandoned mansion instead of the canyon. The nasty little wretch apostle from...
they cut this apostle guy out because he's a demon. He's a demon. I think he's a demon pig. I don't know. I was still decide to see what he's supposed to be. And then they cut out, because this demon apostle came around when after the whole couple of days after when after the Golden Age arc ended, where Gus and Nose just got the eclipse, and Gus just got his armor and stuff from, because Ricky and them made the armor for him. Then this is the arc where he got the Dragon Slayer, but nope, they cut all that. But nope, they cut that out.
Chapter 93 was given an entire backstory, but hey, we had to cut other stuff like the Baron subplots, both of them, the Snake and the Slug one, but we had enough time to fit this in. Glad to see that Rape Horse got the animated quality he so rightfully deserved. Oh my god, this is just embarrassing.
And that horse looks terrible. I don't know what the horse is going to be looking like in the manga, but I know the horse in the manga looks way better than that one. That horse looks terrible.
Like, there's so many jump cuts, and anytime that they actually have a nice shot or a nice scene happening, they instantly cut away from it. It's somewhat reminiscent about how high-budget Hollywood action movies are now, where they instantly cut right before the impact of a fight scene because they're not actually fighting, it's just simulated combat instead of a well-choreographed fight scene like something like Raid Redemption. In this episode, there's definitely a noticeable lack of excessive panning, which is nice in scenes because not every scene has to pan, guys. Just because it is made in CG and you have more freedom with your camera doesn't mean you need to spin around everybody and fucking confuse everyone. It's so disorienting. Like, spatial awareness in scenes is so confusing. Like, where is anybody in the shot of the bar fight? Less is more. Like, you don't need to be like, look at what we can do, because it just ends up ruining it more. Oh, hell yeah. Nothing's hotter than two statues grinding against each other. Cut from the anime is where General Laban goes through the plague-infested city. Also, instead of General Owen going through the palace and going to the princess...
That's still, listen, that's still not in the conviction arc, so I don't know much about the conviction arc. But even I know they cut a lot of stuff out from the manga, because from this anime.
It is General Laban. Guess they were short on budget this week, so they didn't have enough to make an actual second character model for a new character that they're going to use for 5 scenes in total. I must say this episode definitely did flow a lot better compared to the previous 2, but that doesn't mean it's still good. It is still a rancid pile of shit. So now we've fully entered the conviction arc, we no longer has vast chapter distances mashed into one episode, creating...
Was General Laban known was in the Golden Age arc? I don't remember. That's still reading the manga.
Somewhat of a confusion. So there's about only one more episode that actually has 2 separate chapters mashed into one. It's about 4 chapters apart, and they just rearrange the scenes, and at the end of the day, it still serves the same purpose and doesn't really make anything more confusing. It maybe just could have flowed a little bit better if they left it originally how it was. So episode 4 covers chapters 128 through 132. Right off the bat, they cut out the fight between Zod and Griffith, which shows why Zod aligns with Griffith instead of staying neutral like he was in the beginning.
I still don't know why, because Casca, she got the brand of sacrifice too, but when I see a lot of people like, what is Casca brand of sacrifice? It's up in her breast part. Yes, that's where Casca brand of sacrifice is. But I always wonder, why is Gus getting hunted with stuff with Casca? But I think with Casca is that Griffith told the demons not to kill Casca, and it's just let her live. I don't really know. Then another thing they cut out that I just got done reading was that Griffith met up with the ideal evil, this fast demon heart thing that made Griffith become a demon and everything else, and how the ideal evil became a being. They cut all that out.
There you go. That one quick image overlaid for about 10 seconds is the extent of the backstory we're going to get about how Guts got the Dragon's Lair. I know it's really unreasonable for me to expect them to live up to the quality of the drawings of Hell during the eclipse, but this shit is just downright terrible.
Yeah, it's just
the demon
bad.
design is just way too complex for the shitty quality of anime here. It must really be their goal to try to cut every character developing moment in dialogue, like when Puck and Rickard are talking about Guts as a person.
Again, the movies, they cut a lot of stuff out too. On the same thing with 1997 versions too. But even with them, they were way better than this. Way better than this awful anime adaptation.
While the change, Guts is still the same person at the end of the day, and he still really cares for Casca. But nope, you just gotta have him run around and go, Casca, Casca. That shows that he really, really cares about her. Right, guys? Fuck character development. That's just boring. They also cut Farney's talking to the council and more of her inner monologue about her losing faith, and they decided it was enough to just show that she was almost raped by a horse. Alright, let's see what's not important. Character development, backstories that actually matter, character motivation, that's certainly not important enough.
I don't know what manga I'm going to read next after Berserk ends, when I finish Berserk. I may read My Hero or Jujutsu Kaisen or Demon Slayer. That's the main 3 I may read next, because a lot of people say they are really good, even though most of the people don't even read the manga. They just watching the anime.
Fuck that, that's just taking up time. We gotta fit in several more panning shots of the same shit over and over again, because we actually have no movement at all in our characters. And people will actually realize they're looking at a
Then another thing, I just don't have time to just watch animes. Like I said, I don't have time to watch animes all the time too, so it's way easier for me just to read mangas, because I be at work. Most of the time I work, so I can just read a couple of I can read like a couple of chapters. I can read like one. I think I can read like a whole volume. I can read a whole volume, and I can read like 2 or 3 volumes in like one day and get to something else.
Anime. They changed the young person who's about to be executed to an old man. I guess they just had to reuse assets. What the fuck is this camera? Are you trying to give me a fucking migraine? The lighting is so shit here that they can fuck up even the easiest of scenes just because they threw everything into the 3D software and we're like, fuck it, that's good enough. Since they're using 3D to make this show, a lot of the potential impact from fight scenes is lost because like in traditional 2D animation, you could have smears and other line work to make it look like there's impact. You can't do that with 3D unless you're someone like Arxis who can actually do smear animations with 3D models. But do you really expect someone who does this to be able to do this? I don't think so.
No.
Just look at Guts' face right here. You can see that there's infinite more motion and impact because this is drawn and they have the creative freedom to add depth and shadows.
That's what they should have done anyway. Do 2D. It's not hard.
They can't really do with 3D models unless they want to have this fucking scratchy shit overlay. Like they look like they're using fucking color 20 from Street Fighter 4. It looks terrible. Why is the scratchy texture that's over every single character actually move with them? It looks like they're in a fucking Chowder episode. I guess since I've been railing on 3D animation this whole time, I should preface this by saying that I don't particularly hate it. If I had the option, I'd much rather have a 2D animation. But 3D animation can be done right. Just look at Garou or any of the three first JoJo openings. Like those are all amazing and great, and also 3D. And don't look like shit.
Yeah.
Like, this just gets so frustrating when you can see good scenes like this right here, which isn't CG and doesn't look like utter dog shit, but then it's just hampered down with all the awfulness around it. Like, I feel so bad for people who have to claim, like, yeah, I drew this. While the drawn scenes do look infinitely better than the CG, they still are pretty bad because every time they do it, it's just shot, reverse shot, and only their mouths move and their bodies are completely frozen and stilted because it's not animation at all. You draw the body once and then you just have 3 frames of the mouth open, mouth semi-closed, and then mouth fully closed, and bam. And if they don't do that, it's just a panning close-up of a drawing.
They're just doing the Team 4-star effect.
It's also incredibly jarring when they have CG characters and drawn characters in the same shot. It's even worse when they're interacting with each other. I just noticed, but has there been a scene where Guts' cape is not flowing in the wind? I don't understand why they would texture all the demons.
And why you texture them like this? This looks so bad.
And spirits with this ugly, rough texture. It really conflicts with the smooth look of other characters they're trying to go for. It's honestly an aesthetic nightmare. It makes it look shittier than it actually is. Oh my fucking god, they can't even get fog right.
How does this fall? It's just okay, I get Skull Knights there, but at least when you do fall, at least make the fall be everywhere. They only did the fog and it's just a short amount, like 3 meters to each other because Skull Knight's there talking to Guts.
Why are they painting Skull Knights in Guts' face? Well, you can see both of them standing there lifelessly in the same shot. Every visually interesting thing they could possibly do is ruined by their utter incompetence. But you know, maybe that just Berserk can't be animated. There's an entire video on this that you could go watch. The link will be in the description below. But like they stated in this video, that it's just so picturesque that there's so much painstaking detail in each panel of the manga that you can't possibly have this transition.
In this scene, I ain't read the manga, but I already know that in this scene, this is when Guts sees Griffith again, but this time Griffith is in his
unless you want to be like
Griffith's in his body and accidentally skipped it. Oh, that's good for a couple
7
of minutes.
years to make and then be a commercial failure, even though you were a critical success. Oh, great! Now we get to watch them ruin Mosgus too.
They're going. I already know they fucking Mosgus. So I ain't read the. Like I said, I ain't read the full manga, but even I know they fuck Moskus up.
One of the strongest villains next to Griffith, and being memorable and having understandable motives that even maybe you can get behind or understand why he thinks that way. Someone you truly hate for the detestable things he does against humanity and his utter hypocrisy. But hey, fuck all that. We're just gonna cut everything memorable about him. He's just some asshole with a book.
Just look at.
What is this editing? Who okays this?
The editing was so bad. I don't know what to tell people. I don't know how to edit too. That's why my videos. That's why you see my videos. It's just me talking, and I don't really edit some of the stuff out because I do not know how to edit. I'm sorry, but it's just how it's going to be.
Anyways, back to the topic of more cut content. The story that Moses told Farnies while she was airing her concerns and worries of what they were doing was actually right. It's completely removed from the anime. Understandably, a lot of the graphic images from the orgy ritual are
the thing is with the Berserk manga is so much dialogue. It's so much because I am reading the manga. Manga got so many dialogues that you're like, how anyone can read a manga and so much dialogue, and you can. The thing is that you can, at least you understand what's going on.
Removed because this is aired on TV. Sadly, a lot of the cool visual trickery from the hallucinations were also lost due to this censorship. It's so touching to see such a motherly role taken up by Luca for her band of prostitutes. It almost brings a tear to my eye. The only thing stopping me is how fucking robotic they look. Like, at least draw some fucking wrinkles on their face. Like, goddamn, that's at least better than this. This sequence is so shitty that all the faces are actually melted together if you freeze frame this. It's not like where it's a smear animation to make the illusion of motion that people post in quality anime threads. It's just noticeably bad. I'm seriously getting a fucking migraine from all this shaky cam. God damn it. It's like
It looks
taking me an
so
entire week to
bad.
watch
I don't
12
know what to
fucking
tell
episodes
people.
because I get so sick from looking at this. Wow, when it's drawn and not CG, you can actually see facial expressions on characters. What a novel concept. I do have to admit that there is a noticeable improvement in quality in episode 7, but then again, that's not really saying much.
Yeah,
Every
it's still
ghoul is
bad.
actually the same character model. Look at this. Nice, more censorship, just what I need in my hyper gore anime. Yeah, guys, this is a great idea. Just have them pan around his body when he's on a cliff. Just have the camera go directly into the rock. What could possibly go wrong? It definitely doesn't look terrible at all. Also, at the end here, you can see the
still
rock
looks
actually
bad.
warp around Serpico. Ah! At this point, I'm starting to think that the show creators are just trolling us and seeing what else they can get away with. The pacing is just so off with these episodes. Why wouldn't you just cut it here once they have
The pacing already off anyway. The pacing is really bad. No, I had to say the worst pacing is 2017. 2017 Berserk 1 is way worse than this one.
Taken away by the soldiers instead of having it meander for another 3 minutes. Like, this is where the chapter ends in the manga. Why not just have it cut here and then continue in the next episode? Wouldn't that make more sense and flow better?
I know. I think some people are like, how old is Gus? Gus is like in his early 20s.
Sesame seeds. I'm being tortured just as bad as these people in this scene by looking at it. I'm really starting to think that they're just having all this panning to mask the fact that there is literally no motion at all. These are just still images I'm looking at. It's super jarring that the goo is moving at 6 frames while everyone is at least moving at 12. This has to be the most bland, flat fight that I've seen yet. Guts is practically T-posing.
He looks like he T-posed. He looks like he's just not winning. I get that with a show they swing a sword, but it looks like he's just while T-posing is just being T-posed. He looks like he's just posing, and it's so bad
right now. Man, you really get to see how shit Skull Knight looks.
Skull Knight looks awful.
All that JPEG fire around him.
It cut most of Skull Knight when then you cut most of Skull Knight's development too. That's what I don't like about another thing I don't like about it is how they cut Skull Knight. Most of Skull Knight's character development as well. Then you learn from I think Jaundice or someone else that Skull Knight used to be a king when he used to be in the war until they talk about Skull Knight around when it was in the Tower of Rebirth when it was about to rescue Griffith.
Armor looks like has a tinfoil texture around it.
Or no, I think it was Princess Charlotte who told them the story.
Sick. Frame the shot just so you can't see any gore from the cannon. I love it. Why would I ever want to see anything that's actually going on in the scene? That's just silly. If the end of the staff has spikes on both end of it, then in this shot, then the one side should be completely in Guts' neck since the hilt is clipping into him, and the other side isn't around his neck at all.
Terrible.
What is that derpy looking expression on Guts' face supposed to be? In the manga, he doesn't have any expression at all. He's just blank-faced. Honestly, if you're going to have 3D and drawn characters in the same shot, just say fuck it and have them all 3D. It stands out too much when they're not both the same thing. You honestly could have just cut away from this scene instead of going straight to black and ruining the flow of it. Like, watch this.
The scene is still bad, with someone edited out.
and I instantly improved it. Look, that flow's way better. Hey Zod, where'd you get that scar on your head? And why is your horn missing?
Because they cut that out. They cut out his fight with Griffith.
We'd probably know this if they didn't cut that from the anime. Oh. Where is the ground for this shot? Were they so rushed that they couldn't even drag and drop something in? Do these guys have any understanding of how to frame or distance anything in this anime at all? You can really see where the studio's strengths lie when they're doing the chibi moe blob gag stuff, because that doesn't look like complete shit and it actually flows pretty well. It's almost as if all they've ever worked on is fast-paced, high-energy anime with a messy art style to complement the comedy, and have no place making a dark, depressing, slow and somber show.
He's right. They got no place doing this.
Man, it'd be really nice if we could get to see the action of Guts beating Moscus, but they have him framed outside of the shot, not to mention he's spewing so much jelly it's even harder to see what's happening on the screen. Eyes open with your hands to ensure water reaches the eyes. Wow. They used 5 character models this time. I honestly think that Guts was miscasted for this anime. This guy does a serviceable job, mind you. He's okay, but I don't think he has...
The dub version of Griffith, the guy who played the dub version of Guts, he's way better.
Takes to do the
because you can feel like that's what Gus would really sound like.
Guttural screams of pure anger that is required for this character. I also don't believe a lot of the times when he is trying to sound like he's in pain or he's swinging his sword, a lot of the lines come off stilted in a way, but that's just my perception. I can't 100% say for sure because I don't understand Japanese, so just based on inflections, this is just how I feel. Maybe have him do 1 or 2 more takes of him screaming at Griffith, because boy, do I not feel anything from that. Sick. More unnecessary Shira conclusion. Yes, this is just what we need. It ties everything together perfectly. Oh my god, what did you do to Zod? He looks like a chia pet. Wait a second. Skull Knight wasn't holding his sword here. But you know what character got the worst treatment in the show? Guts. And that's
a really
big fucking problem when that's the main character of your show.
Yeah, that's the biggest issue. And you can't say about anything about this anime, about this 2060 adaptation. This is the biggest issue with this whole entire fucking anime, is how they portray Gus. No, I'm not going to say Gus is every single character. How they did Puck, Serpico, Cedra, Farnese, and how they did the same thing with Moscus. How they did every single character in this whole entire adaptation. You cut all their character development and everything else. The main problem is Gus himself, because he's the main character of your show, and you cut most of his character development. And in this one, you make Gus like a if Puck was like an annoying asshole. Gus isn't just it's just the biggest asshole in this whole anime, even though he's not even the biggest asshole in this whole anime. That's because when you watch it like Gus is like an asshole, even though Gus is not an asshole. And Puck is not annoying too. Puck is not even annoying in the manga. Now, when you read the manga, you can say Puck is a little annoying, but Puck is actually telling Gus what being Gus is like a friend, like he's the one who's being the good part. If Gus is like this cold-hearted person, Puck is like the good nature of Gus. And let's just say that, even though Puck is like a little elf character.
Every instance, and I've been going over this for the whole fucking video, so this is probably pretty redundant at this point. Every instance they have a characterization and telling his background and his motivation, they're just completely cut. From what you can tell from watching this, is Guts.
And that scene with Ricket was where when Gus found out that Casca got lost and told Ricket where Casca went, where you got I think he told, because both to talk to each other about not tell Casca anything and keep Casca underground stuff, but then the little girl told Gus that both two were like playing outside, and Casca just ran off.
Just an asshole who just kills people and doesn't give a shit about anything. But in actuality, Guts regrets most of his actions. He hates what he has to do. He hates the life he has
And this scene was in the Baron Count art where when that Count guy with the slug Count guy. And the thing is with the Count guy is that you actually do see him in the Golden Age art, because that's the guy that killed most of their people as well. Especially he's the guy who almost killed Ricky as well. A lot of people didn't know that because they cut the Count art too, and it makes some goddamn sense. And this is a scene where they were when I forgot who that princess girl too, because she was the count's daughter, and she told Gus that it's all his fault. You know how Casca told Gus when Griffith got hurt by Zod that this all his fault, and she said she gonna hunt him for the rest of his life. Then this is the face Gus told her off. Then after he was leaving, this is the face that he made because he felt bad with what he did to her, because that's what he did not want her to go through. Because she almost got the brand of sacrifice when because this is the scene where after Gus met Griffith again when Griffith was Fanto. But note the count cut that out, like fucking dumb.
Live. He's a product of the misfortune of his upbringing. Orphaned at birth from his mother being killed and hung from a tree, miraculously being born only to be rescued by a passing caravan mercenaries, being taken in by a prostitute that's part of the gang, only to witness this now foster mother die to the plague and have his foster father, the mercenary leader, blame him for this.
Yeah.
Growing up on the battlefield, knowing survival of the fittest is the only way you're going to make this out. It's kill or be killed. The only thing he knows what to do is fight. His abusive foster father later selling him off to one of the other.
I had to say, fuck this guy. This dude's cross-eyed as well, so I had to say, fuck this guy. He just looked at good. He just talked to Gambino. I'm gonna talk about Gambino after this scene, but he talked to Gambino. He sold Griffith. Gambino sold Gus out for like three silvers. I don't know what 3 silvers is. How much 3 silvers is? Maybe like $1,000.
They're members of the mercenary group and being raped by him. Later, then killing his rapist during a mission.
Yeah, he
and
killed him.
Now alcoholic.
Now I want to talk about Gambino. Gambino's like the worst character in this whole fucking show, whole fucking manga and show. I hate Gambino with a passion, and how he treated Gus. I don't know why Gus always treated Gambino like a father. I think it's because that he's the only person back around that time in his life that he only had that, and he's the guy that trained Gus to be a mercenary. That's what Gus always treated Gambino almost like a father figure, even though Gambino is just a fucking asshole. That just a fucking asshole. I hate Gambino with passion. That's all I have to say.
Disabled father trying to kill him. He ends up killing him in self-defense. The rest of the mercenaries then.
It looked like Gambino was It didn't look like Gambino was really starting to like Gus until all that happened when he lost his leg and sold Gus off for that mercenary guy.
For the death of their.
And the thing with the mercenary guy, he worked with Gambino now. He was a part of his mercenary gang.
Leader and chase him off, trying to kill him. After this, he is completely shut off from all interaction with other people and does not let anyone else even touch him. Later to find acceptance in the band.
And Gus was like 11. Gus was like 11 around that time when Gambino was trying to kill him. Then he met Griffin on when he was like 15 years old. Then 3 years, or maybe 3 years and 3.5, or 3 or 4 years. Let's say like 4 years. That's when there was like 19 years old when the whole eclipse happened. Then another 3 years that we curry at now in the month. current app now with current act what Gus currently is like 21, 21, 24. I don't know.
The Hawk making a best friend out of Griffith and loving Casca, later to leave and to go his own.
Let me look at Gus's age. Yeah, Gus is like 24, so I got a little bit. I was like 21, 24. I don't know. I like okay. I was a little bit right. He was. I don't like. I was a little bit right. He was like 21, 24. So he's 24 years old. Like I was right that Gus like early 20s. Gus not old. He's like really young.
Own separate way and basically fucking everything up, to come back to find things are changed for the worse. Griffith's lost his body pretty much. He is a husk of who he formerly was, and then losing everybody to the eclipse, where Griffith then sacrifices everybody to get a new body in ascent to the god hand, along with, gouging his eye out and raping Casca in front of him, and then leaving Casca as an empty shell of who she formerly was.
Yeah, it was really bad. Especially when you watch the series, it's bad, but it wasn't. It was bad, but when you watch the movie, it's bad and sad at the same time because now you got the actual ending of the Golden Age arc in that scene where in the scene in the movie.
He is left marked with the brand of the sacrifice, which will then leave him to be chased by demons and otherworldly spirits until they take his soul and drag him to hell and suffer for the rest of eternity. But after hearing me say that, would you have gotten any of that from the anime?
No.
Fuck no. And that's the anime's biggest issue. We can complain to the end of time about the shitty animation, the hit or miss voice acting, the complete misuse of the music, and the all over the place tone, but this is just terrible storytelling. You can see here's
but when you fuck your own characters up, that's the problem.
Brilliant still shine through in this sometimes, but it's just hampered down because it is, at the end of the day, a bad adaptation. But now it's done and over with. I never have to talk about this fucking piece of shit ever again, and hopefully it won't get any sequels. Wait, what? There's another season? You're shitting me. There's no fucking way. No!
But I hope y'all enjoy this video. And go like and subscribe to Cvit as well. He made a lot of good videos. I did watch the 2017 version. Then I watched his whole Yu-Gi-Oh version. If y'all want me to talk about Death Note in the future, talk about Death Note, this awful Netflix series of Death Note, I may do it maybe tomorrow or somewhere. I don't really know. But I hope y'all enjoy this video and have a nice day and goodbye.